I'm here with Juliana Pita, our director, sanctuary director in Kampala, Uganda. And Juliana, just so thrilled to be able to talk to you. Thanks for ending your workday. It's an early start on my Tuesday and a end of your workday Tuesday as we talk today. Just thrilled though to be able to connect with you as we just try to share the work that's going on in the sanctuaries with all of our supporters and people who are really interested in knowing what's going on there on the ground. Um, I want you to, before we talk at all about International Sanctuary, before we talk about the work, um, tell us a little bit about you, your life, your what's in your life outside of International Sanctuary and your work with participants.
Okay. Like Shannon said, my name's Juliana. I yes, I have one husband. Been married coming to 3 years. This Feb will be making 3 years. Yay.
Yay.
And I have, yeah, and I have one son who is 1 year and 9 months.
Uh,
Um, yes, so I live in Kampala, Uganda. I have grown up, I was born in Kampala, grown up in Kampala, yeah, here with my family. Um, Outside of the sanctuary, I spend a lot of my time in church. I serve in church. I sing in church. I enjoy doing that. Aside from that, I just enjoy having casual conversation with friends over tea. I really like tea. Yeah. And that's all. That's who I am. Yeah.
yeah. So you're a singer. You sing.
Yes, I am. Yes, 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 I
I'll have
am.
to get you to sing a song for us sometime,
Oh
Juliana.
boy. Oh boy.
Maybe we can
Okay.
do a duet. I like to sing too.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yay. That's it.
Um, and so you've lived your whole life in Kampala.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
How large
Mhm.
is, for those that don't know, how large a city is Kampala? How large an area? How many people?
Mm. So Kampala hosts about, so I've read 3 million people during the day and about 1 million at night. So what
Really?
happens?
Yeah.
Yes. So what happens is people come into the city for work, and to trade, that kind of thing. And then at the end of the day, they travel out of the city and that's where they stay. Yeah. Because Kampala is not that big to accommodate all those people.
Mm,
But it's the biggest city. Yeah.
mm.
It's the capital city. Yeah.
So describe a little bit about what there's obviously things in the economy or other vulnerabilities that set up women to be vulnerable for trafficking.
Mhm.
What are some of the things? Is it joblessness? Is it the lack of opportunity? Is it poverty? Maybe it's all of those. What are some of the things that make women vulnerable to trafficking in that area?
I think, yeah, first of all, it would be just the way our culture is set up. Our culture is set up to favor, jobs for mainly men, especially jobs that are informal. They're mainly for the men. And then women are just, first of all, we are socialized to think that when we grow up, we're going to be housewives, and stay at home and look after children. But times are changing and women want to do more for themselves, but there's just not as many opportunities for work. Yes, the employment opportunities are very scarce over here in Kampala, and yet you're finding more girls are going to school and coming out of school, and there's just nothing to do. And yet in school, we're not taught necessarily how to be creators of jobs. We're taught to look for jobs, but there are not that many jobs for us to all get. So a lot of the times, I think people are tricked into opportunities that are not good for them. They're not dignifying for them. In the just that that you'll be able to get an income, and most of the women just don't want to go back to or being married, being a housewife. They want more for themselves, but there's just not enough opportunities. Yeah.
So describe then the participants that we have now in the sanctuary, or generally. Where are they coming from? What circumstances are they coming out of?
Hmm. So most of the women that we have are middle aged. Most of them have children. We only have, I think, about maybe 10% of the participants, in fact, less than 10% not having children. Um, so they've come out of relationships that were not very functional or healthy for them. So they're women. On top of that, they're mothers. They haven't gone very, very far enough in school for them to get jobs that are well paying. Um, yes, and they've come from situations. Most of them also have come from rural settings. Like I told you, many people come from the outside of Kampala into Kampala to find work, and most of the times people will go through Kampala and then trafficked either abroad or locally. Yeah, so people pour into Kampala looking for work, and then that's where the trafficking networks usually find them. Yeah, so most of our women are they're young, they have families, and they're desperately looking for for a way to make a living.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Juliana, what drew you to the work? What were you doing before International Sanctuary? How did your heart for this work and these women develop?
Mm. Okay, so before I was working for a Christian organization that is focused on youth leadership development, and I'd done that straight out of coming out of university. That's the first job that I had here back and home. I knew I wanted to work with marginalized groups of people in my community. So that's the work that I got at that time. But in doing it, I realized that, that in our community, so many women were suffering, and most of the Christian workers that I was around were just, generally working with the marginalized people in the community. So I really, and also I'd just grown up having a heart for women.
Yeah.
I'd grown up asking the whys, okay, why is it that the woman is struggling like this, but the man isn't? Those questions. I'd grown up having those questions in my mind.
Yeah.
And I remember even working with the young people, I remember because I was working specifically with student leaders at the university. Um, but I remember thinking, okay, among the student leaders, why is it that only 20% of them are only female? Where are the rest of the girls? Where are the rest of the women? Where are they? And just seeing so many males. So I always had that, that's something tugging in my heart for women. And so when this opportunity came up for me to specifically work with women, I knew, this is where I wanted to be.
Mm.
Um, yeah.
So, what have been some of the most rewarding parts of that work? What have been some of the most challenging parts of that work for you?
Hmm. So I think I'll start with challenging parts. I think the most challenging parts for me so far is, you know, for some of the women to not being able to see what you see in them. I think that's honestly, I think the most frustrating thing because And I don't know, I guess that's just how we are as human beings. But you look at someone and you will see what they can achieve. You will see what they're capable of.
Possibilities.
Yes, all the possibilities,
Yeah.
everything that they're capable of.
Yeah.
And you will try to communicate that to them. It's just extremely frustrating when they just struggle to see what you see. Yeah, for me, it's very frustrating because I just want to, I wish I could very easily just open their eyes and say, look, this is who you are and this is what you can do. So just, fly away and be great because I know you can be great. Um, yeah, so that by far is the most frustrating for me.
Heartbreaking.
Yes, frustrating, heartbreaking, so many words. But I think the most rewarding is truly the opposite of what I was saying, just seeing women step into their potential, seeing them embrace community, seeing them accept to be loved because they deserve to be loved.
Mm.
It's everything. It's
Yeah.
everything, I tell you. Yeah, and just seeing them accept love and then start to to do better for themselves, or them having a mind shift, knowing that they can do something and actually going ahead and doing it is yeah, the best.
So describe that community a little more, because I know that is such a important part of what we do, and certainly an important part of what you're leading there. Um, Describe what that community is and why it's unique for those women.
Hmm. So currently we have 26 women at the sanctuary. And yes, they make the jewelry, but we also we take time to we take off some time in our day, depending on what day it is, to just spend time together, get to know each other better, celebrate each other, communicate that everyone is important, give each other a chance to speak. So we do this mostly in our classes, the way that we do our life skill classes. We don't do it in a, oh, okay, the staff are here to teach you, sit down and listen. We will present what we're talking about. Let's say we're talking about conflict management, and then we will find a way for everyone to speak. We make time for everyone to speak, what they've experienced, what they think, that kind of thing. And in doing that, you know, you get to learn about other people, but you also there's something about being heard that gives you a sense of belonging, knowing that what, these people are actually all quiet, all these, okay, let's say the 26 participants plus the 4 staff, that would be 30. So all these 29 people are sitting here listening to me. What I'm saying is important. It builds a sense of community. And we also celebrate birthdays. Recently, one of the ladies, and it wasn't even our initiative as staff, one of the ladies in our stand-up meetings that we have every morning, she pitched an idea for us to collect money for another participant who had been going through a hard time. She had been through an armed robbery. Thieves had come to her home and broken in and stolen some
Oh,
stuff. So here we are in the meeting as staff. We are trying to support her as best as we can. And here this participant puts up her hand and she's just like, guys, why don't we collect whatever you have, and let's give it to this other participant. She's been going through a hard time. And for me, those are things that define community, being able to be there for each other in
yeah.
times of need. I think another really, really cool story, that's really still on my heart, is the
Mm.
Christmas party. So we usually have Christmas celebrations as the year is ending on the last day that we're together. So this year we just didn't know what to do, what we're going to do. Um, like, the budget that we had was not enough for us to, go all out and do everything that we wanted to do. So our staff, we said, you know what, let's just do the most that we can do. Just stay here, get some food, get some cake, and just make merry.
Yeah.
And we're just like, maybe it won't be as exciting and whatnot. So we shared it with the ladies. We said, okay, this is the day that we are planning to have the Christmas party. We'll have the lunch lady who usually brings lunch, bring in some food. We'll get some cake and some soda, and yay. And so it was just amazing to see the women come together to plan the Christmas party aside from us. They brought decorations from their house. There's there's a lady who brought a speaker from her house. Those like massive speakers from her house. Someone else said, you know what, I'm going to, in fact, let's not ask the lunch lady to cook the lunch. We'll make it. They volunteered to make the lunch. Someone said, I'll cook the chicken, I'll cook the rice, and by 11 a.m., everything was done. The place was beautifully set. They had come up with a program for the day. Like as staff, we didn't have to do anything. Sorry, we didn't have to do anything. And on top of that, we had decided to do Secret Santa. People went all out in buying gifts. Yeah, every time I think about it, I just want to cry because for me, it shows how much they treasure being a part of the sanctuary community. For them to go out of their way, keeping in mind, Shannon, that, you know what, it's not like they make $1,000 in a month. No, they make just enough for them and their families, just taking out extra from what they make to contribute to, our happiness as a community. Just, it overwhelmed me. Yeah.
So we're, we obviously bring women in around the, for the purpose or for the task of jewelry making, which is how they are paid, what they are paid primarily for, but we surround that with all kinds of other things. You're talking the life skills, the community, education, anything we can bring to the woman to help develop her. So you've been in and around the work with marginalized people for a long time. What would you say is the impact that International Sanctuary is having there in Kampala with these women?
Yeah. So I think the women that we have been with the longest have been able to learn how to work hard, work hard, but also they're learning how important, their self-worth is. Before, I feel like many of them had gotten to a point where they're just like, you know what, here, let me just, make money. I have no choice, actually. I have no choice but to do what I have to do to make money and earn a living for my family. But I'm happy that with International Sanctuary, they know that they have choice. We're teaching them that, there's so many other things that you can do. We're opening up their minds to the possibilities of business, with the little that you have. How can you manage the little that you have, but also be able to grow it? Yeah. And they're learning how to work hard, because even in a business that you own, you need to be able to work hard, put in the hours, be consistent. They're learning how to set targets for themselves with the production, set targets and be able to hit the targets and know that, what, when you hit targets, you're celebrated, this is what it feels like to hit targets. But also so many other life skills, planning for their lives, planning for their futures, but also, like we've been speaking about community, the importance of relationships in everything that you do. Yeah, so they've been able to learn all of that while being at International Sanctuary, knowing that they are valued. Yeah, knowing that they're valued and they're important. Yeah.
Can you think of a story, an individual, Juliana, who in your mind just represents that most, someone who came in just without a sense of hope or without a sense of you know purpose, without a sense of love, maybe, and who really was profoundly impacted by their time in the sanctuary.
Yeah, definitely. I can think of a couple of stories. The one that comes to mind, she's 20, she's 27, she's 27 years old. She joined the sanctuary, I think, in 2019. Yes, she joined the sanctuary in 2019. She came in, she came in as a citizen of another country, actually. She had been trafficked through Uganda, from the best of my knowledge. Yes. Yeah, and she came in with really no hope, no sense of family as well. And you know what that does to you, being in a place where you know you don't really have any family and just feeling very lost. And she came in being like really meek, um, not being confident in speaking English.
Yeah.
But right now, the way that she has blossomed, I feel like she's one of the most confident people or
Hmm.
most confident participants that I see at the sanctuary. She's very confident. Even if her English is not as good as everyone else, she'll still put up her hand and speak in our stand-up meetings. She will joke about things. Recently, she was speaking something about farming. Um, I can't remember what exactly the context was, but we were speaking about farming, and the other ladies were telling her, why can't you do farming? And she was just like, you people, back in the day when I was younger, I farmed. I farmed when I had no choice. I used to farm rice. Even when I was pregnant, it didn't matter. I had to farm rice. And then I would pick up maize, corn, and I would sell it. I would walk on the streets selling it. I didn't have a choice. But now that I have a choice, I never want to see farming again, you know, and everyone was just like, why? And she's just like, I'm never doing farming. Now I have a choice, you know. And I was just like, and that's okay, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
This is exactly where we want you to reach, for you to know you don't have to do anything that you don't want to do, or you don't have to do anything that when you have another choice, you know. And she said, I prefer to do business. And she's gone ahead to, you know, get citizenship here in Uganda. She's gone ahead to open up a bank account. She has savings. She now has a partner here in Uganda. She has a child who she's taking to school, and she's very proud about that. She says, you know what, I didn't go to school, but I want my children to go to school. Just that attitude of wanting more for herself and taking herself out of, you know what, I have been through the worst, so I'm just going to sit here and be sad, but knowing, you know what, I have hope. I
Yeah.
can do more for myself. Yeah, so she's one of the people that comes to mind.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
great.
it's so
It's a
beautiful.
great image to think of her and to think of her joking. It's isn't it great how humor comes out of someone as they begin to become hopeful again, as they begin to become confident again. That releases a sense of humor and a smile,
Yeah,
which are
and it's crazy, Shannon, that on the days when she's maybe unwell and she's not at the sanctuary, you will tell that she's not at the sanctuary.
uh,
She just, you know, lights up our entire
yeah,
community in a special way. Yet, you know, she's really been through, you know, she's been to hell and back. But we're grateful that she is where she is now.
yeah, fantastic. Well, as you think, like if you think about the future of the sanctuary there in Kampala, both what you really hope for and the maybe the challenges that you know the sanctuary is facing, the participants are facing. Just tell me a little bit about what you see ahead next.
Mhm. Yeah. So I'm just hoping that going forward, that we can be able to successfully invest in our women, such that when the time comes for them, to move on to another opportunity, that they're confident financially in transitioning out.
Yeah.
So most of them have their eye on business, but they're still worried, do I have enough to start? Will I be okay? So
Sure.
I want us to grow to a place where, we are able to invest in them, but also invest in them in different ways, in terms of knowledge, but also financially, so that when someone leaves the sanctuary, we're just like, yeah, I think, yeah, I'm almost 100%
Yeah.
confident that
I'm ready.
she'll be able to fly. Yeah, that she'll be able to fly and
Yeah.
be successful. Yeah. So I envision that after, life after the sanctuary is successful for them. For me, that would be, my biggest hope and dream. Yeah, that independent of us, that they're able to live their lives successfully, and happily and planned. Yeah.
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 I think that's all of our heart, right? That we desire
Yeah.
that for our participants wherever they are, is that as we get to invest in them for the years they're with us, that is transformative for them, and puts them in a place to really thrive, and live a life that is full and joyful and meaningful, outside of the sanctuary, for sure. I share that with you. Let's keep working to that. Let's do that. Well, I love your smile. I love your joy. I've appreciated every time I've got to hear your heart and listen to you express your love for the women. So thanks for taking a few minutes with me today to talk about that and share that with everybody who will listen to this interview. I just want to commend you to the work you're doing, and let you know that we love you, and
Oh.
thanks for sharing that love with these precious women we get to serve. Thanks,
Oh, thank you
Juliana.
very much. Thank you, Shannon. I appreciate the words, the kind words.
You're welcome.